Okay, so I'll just do a short summary, and then
Hmm.
you can share if you have any thoughts or anything.
ठीक है.
Okay, so yesterday we had started talking about the 10 activities of the Jeevan, and I'll just
Hmm.
share them also so that's visible. Yeah. So all of them were named and discussed a bit. Not really discussed, just named actually. That the first, the nucleus of the Jivan is called the soul or Atma, and the
Hmm.
particle uh, called soul or Atma. What its activities are, it's performing two activities. The first is Anubhava or experience, and the second is evidencing. Then the first orbital. So there's a nuclear particle, then there's the first orbital. This first orbital is called the intellect. That's the name given to it. And it is what the activities it's performing is comprehension and determination or resolve. Then the second orbital is called the vision. And the activities it's performing is contemplation and visualization. Then the third orbital is called the disposition, and its activities are weighing and analysis. And finally, the fourth orbital is the mind, called the mind, and its activities are tasting and selection. So we had discussed these names, and then we had shared that in what we need is for all 10 of these activities to be evident, and he has been able to do that. He has been able to see himself evidencing it, lived it out, and checked it out. But currently, what most humans have been living within are just 4.5 activities. And then we had gone on to discuss why he's saying 4.5. Like, what is this half of an activity? And he said, okay, Manjuli is also
Yeah.
here. So he had said that this half of an activity was because weighing or tulan can be carried out in two different manners. And the first manner in which you can conduct weighing is in a body rooted manner, and in which basically your basis of weighing, your criteria for weighing will be your preference, your health, or profitability. And if you pay attention to all three of these are all sensory based criteria. So even our preferences are based on what suits our senses or what doesn't suit our senses. Actually, what appeals to our senses and what doesn't appeal to our senses. Health is regarding what suits our senses and what doesn't suit our senses. And profit is actually regarding over the long run what will continue to suit and be um, appealing to our senses or not. So all three of these are to do with the body and to do with the sense organs. And so he was saying that this is why the reason we are involved in only this one kind of weighing is because we have confused our Jivan to be the body itself. So all our criteria for evaluation, our criteria of weighing has become body centric. Whereas the Jivan is separate and the body is separate, and we need to understand the value of each. And when we are able to do that, that's what probably today we'll continue and complete that segment.
Just trying to watch the microphone balls.
Other manner of what do you call it? Weighing as well. So then there will be this other three bases on which we evaluate, which will be discussed further. So that is why he's calling it half an activity. We are only using 3 out of the 6 criteria available to us. So that's where we had paused yesterday. And then of course, he talked about where this confusion, this major trap begins is from the very moment that parents have received their newborn infant. They confuse the body of the infant to be the Jivan of the infant. And after a few days, even the infant starts to take on this belief that I actually am this body, not that I am something else. And that is where lies the crux of all our other delusions. So this is where we had paused it. Okay. So
And this one, the sensory way of weighing, in Hindi, is it same like what you said, hit labh priya? Like it's
हाँ, yeah, priya hit labh, yeah.
either
Sorry, the sound and video is breaking, so I'm not sure if you said something after that.
no, I didn't. And I'm gonna stop my video. Maybe that will improve. Let's see.
Okay. Say something? No, yours was fine, Manjushri.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah. No, actually, the sound is
Okay.
good now.
No, I can't
Yeah.
see Babaji.
Because I haven't shared that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll share that also. I was just sharing the table of the names of the different powers and forces, the activities of the Jeevan.
Yeah.
So now you can see him probably.
Hmm.
Okay, anything else before we continue?
No.
Okay, let me just find the spot where we had paused.
पश्चात जब कभी भी शिशु रूप में मनुष्य प्राप्त होता है वो जीवनते मिलता है। मुख्य बात यहाँ से है। यह भी पूछा जाता है शरीर शास्त्र के अनुसार शरीर को निरीक्षण परीक्षण करने की स्थिति, किंतु आप न्याय की अपेक्षा करते ही हैं।
Right. So this is actually where we had ended that. How do we know that the Jeevan is different from the body? We know it because no matter, all of us can check within ourselves that there is no bodily part or organ which awaits justice, which awaits order, or which awaits truth. So it is not a function of some part of our body.
प्रतीक्षा करते हैं, मैं भी करता हूँ, सभी करते हैं, किंतु व्यवस्था का भी अपेक्षा हम करते हैं, आप करते हैं, सत्य का भी अपेक्षा मैं करता हूँ, आप करते हैं। इस ढंग से तीनों चीज हम आप अपेक्षा भी करते हैं, प्रतीक्षा भी करते हैं। Yes.
So we don't find any bodily organ in which this happens, yet I await justice, as do you, as do all of us. I await order, as do you, as do all of us. And I also await truth, as do you, as do all of us. And so it is not just the fact that we await it, but we also, it's not just that we expect it, but we also await it. So, sorry, in the first round of us and you're saying we expect justice and expect order and we expect truth. And not just the fact that we expect it, but we also await it.
सच्चाई है। इसका
Vishta,
Hmm.
how will you correlate body ka pain with Jeevan? I mean, the body is in pain, and if it, how does Jeevan then? So Jeevan feels the suffering and the body feels the pain.
No, all the feeling is happening in the Jeevan. Only the body sends the signals to the Jeevan
that it's in pain.
Yeah.
That something is wrong.
Yeah. And that signal is felt by the Jeevan as pain.
So who feels the pain? What feels the pain?
So it is the Jeevan only which is feeling all sensations. So this tasting that is happening in the mind, the first or the fourth orbital of the Jeevan is the mind, in which one of its activities is tasting. So it is tasting all the sensations. Of these, some sensations are good and some sensations are bad. And these are all signals being sent from the body itself.
Oh gosh, okay. I thought at least the body felt the pain and... Okay.
Sorry. I'm sitting in a house where there is construction.
That's fine. That's fine. I got my answer.
Okay.
भाई होना ही कुल मिलाकर के जीवन की 10 क्रियाएं प्रमाणित होना है। अपेक्षा भी करते हैं, प्रतीक्षा भी करते हैं, यह सच्चाई है। इसका भरपाई होना ही कुल मिलाकर के जीवन की 10 क्रियाएं प्रमाणित होना है और कुछ।
So we both expect it and we await it. That is the truth. And the fulfillment of these is altogether the work of the 10 activities of the Jeevan. Nothing else, no more, no less.
कुछ भी नहीं, इसमें बहुत सारा झंझट भी नहीं है और बहुत सारा रहस्य भी नहीं है। अब रहस्य नहीं है, इस बात कहाँ से ध्रुवीकृत होता है? हर मनुष्य जीवंत ही है। ये तो बात, हर मनुष्य जीवंत ही है।
Okay. And there is not very much jhanjat, not much issue with this, nor is there any mystery around this. And how do we say that there is no mystery around this? That is because every single human being is alive, is already alive, or basically जीवंत ही है. The reason that there is no mystery around the fact that there is a Jeevan is that every human being is alive. Yeah, that's it.
ये तो बात पक्का है। और शरीर जीवंत रहने के लिए जीवन का होना बहुत जरूरी है। जीवन नहीं रहेगा तो शरीर जीवंत नहीं रहेगा।
So this is something which is solid, and for the body to remain alive, it is absolutely necessary for the Jeevan to be there. If the Jeevan is not running the body will not remain alive.
ये यथार्थ। और शरीर को जीवंत बनाए रखने के लिए जो माने वस्तु है, इसी का नाम हम जीवन नाम दिया है।
That is as it is, and the entity which is necessary to keep the body alive is what we have named the Jeevan.
जीवन अपने में जो सदा सदा शिशुकाल से ही परंपरा के रूप में जो मन की दो क्रिया चयन आस्वादन को शुरुआतें करता है, ये तो वो तो करते ही रहता है।
And this Jeevan, ever since infancy, it performs these first two activities of the mind, which is selection and tasting. So this is something it keeps on doing ever since infancy.
दूसरा जो विश्लेषण और तुलन में से विश्लेषण तो करता ही है और तुलन को प्रीहित लाभ के रूप में हर व्यक्ति करता ही है। बाल्यकाल से ही करता है, वृद्धकाल से भी करता है।
Second, as for this next activities of weighing and analysis, it performs half of the weighing and it performs this analysis. Every person does it ever since the stage of childhood, and they do it in childhood as well as in vriddhakal, so old age.
इसको हम देखते हैं। और जो और क्रिया जो चित्त का जो एक क्रिया है चित्रण क्रिया को हम तमाम करते ही हैं, करते ही आ रहे हैं।
And then the other activities, the activity of the vision, which is visualization, that is also something that we do. We have been doing forever.
यही चित्रण क्रिया चलते मनुष्य अपना सामान्य आकांक्षा महत्वाकांक्षा संबंधी सारे वस्तुओं को चित्रित कर लिया और उसको प्राप्त भी कर लिया।
So it is under the इसके चलते, so it is through this activity of visualization that the human has been able to visualize their basic aspirations and their what was the word I was using for Mahatvakanksha? Enterprisal aspirations. So they were able to visualize both of these, and they were even able to obtain all of these thanks to visualization.
प्राप्त भी करने के बावजूद भी हम कहीं भी कोई व्यवस्था तक पहुंचना बनाना है।
And despite having obtained these, we have not been able to arrive at any sort of order.
इन्हीं उपलब्धियों को हम सोचते रहे ये मानव का उपलब्धि है या मानवीयता की उपलब्धि है, मानव का श्रेष्ठता का उपलब्धि है, मानव का अधिकार का उपलब्धि है, संघर्ष का उपलब्धि है, युद्ध का उपलब्धि है।
And it was these very achievements that we kept on believing to be the achievements of humankind, to be the achievements of humanity, to be the achievements of human excellence, to be the achievements of human authority, to be the achievements of human struggle and the achievements of human war.
शोषण का उपलब्धि है, कुछ भी गणित लगाते रहते हैं।
And the achievement of exploitation. So whatever logic or math we find, we keep applying to justify these.
आए दिन ये सब तो पेपर, पत्रिका, पुस्तक, इसमें तो सब हर दिन कहते भी रहते हैं। इन सबको हम भी सुनते हैं, आप भी सुने हैं, आप भी पढ़े होंगे, हम तो पढ़े नहीं हैं। बात
On a daily basis, we find such discourses in the newspapers, in editorials, in books, etc. And we keep hearing about it also. You must have also heard about these. You must have also read about these. I have not read about these.
को हम भी सुनते हैं, आप भी सुने हैं, आप भी पढ़े होंगे, हम तो पढ़े नहीं हैं। बात इतनी है।
That is all.
सुनने की बात
That
सही है।
Up till listening, I have done it.
इतने ही बात है। तो इन बात
That is all. That is the crux of this entire discourse.
बातों को देख करके हंसी भी आती है, कभी अफसोस भी होती है। इन बातों को देख करके हंसी भी आती है, कभी अफसोस भी होती है। हम कैसे इतने में मान लिया हम सब मनुष्य के लिए हम सभी कुछ पा गए, मनुष्य को हम अध्ययन कर लिए, ये कैसा सोच लिए, एक पुनर्विचार करने की मुद्दा है।
And when I take a look at these discourses, sometimes I end up laughing also, but there is also a sense of disappointment. Afsoos would be disappointment. Huh? And how we have come to the conclusion that this is all that humans are all about.
लिया हम सब मनुष्य के लिए हम सभी कुछ पा गए, मनुष्य को हम अध्ययन कर लिए, ये कैसा सोच लिए?
How can we conclude that based on just these sorts of achievements, we have attained all that humans require, and we have understood all there is to understood about humans? What sort of conclusion is this? This is something worth thinking about.
एक पुनर्विचार करने की मुद्दा है। जो कहते हैं शरीर शास्त्र के नाम से लिखा जाता है, जिसको बायोलॉजी कहा जाता है, तो बायोलॉजी वाले तो करते क्या है, तो शव को अध्ययन करते हैं। जीवंत आदमी का एक भी आदमी आज तक अध्ययन नहीं किया।
So if you look at those who study the human body, which is the field of study is called biology. So what is it that biologists do? They study the dead bodies of humans, human corpses. They never study, not a single alive person has been studied. It has only been a study of corpses.
वो कहते हैं बायोलॉजी को पढ़ा दिया। क्या यह सच्चाई है? सच्चाई हो सकता है? कोई अंधरा भी क्या ये मान सकता है? आप ही बताओ, सोचो कि हम एक शव को काट करके मनुष्य का अध्ययन कर पाएंगे?
And then they say that we have explained biology. And
कोई अंधरा भी क्या ये अध्ययन करते हैं? जीवंत आदमी का एक भी आदमी आज तक अध्ययन नहीं किया। वो कहते हैं बायोलॉजी को पढ़ा दिया।
So they have never studied a single alive human being, and then they say that we have studied and taught biology.
क्या यह सच्चाई है? सच्चाई हो सकता है?
Can this be the truth?
कोई अंधा भी क्या यह मान सकता है?
Will even a blind person accept this?
आप ही बताओ, सोचो कि हम एक शव को काट करके मनुष्य का अध्ययन कर पाएंगे?
So you only decide, think about it. Will we be able to study a human being after cutting open a corpse?
हड्डी को गिन करके क्या मनुष्य का अध्ययन कर पाएंगे? कर पाएंगे? हड्डी को गिन करके क्या मनुष्य का अध्ययन कर पाएंगे?
Will we be able to study human beings through counting all the bones in the human body?
और मांसपेशियों को गिन करके क्या मनुष्य का अध्ययन कर पाएंगे? ये जबकि जीवंत मनुष्य में ही आँख कान नाक में कहीं भी मनुष्य का अध्ययन नहीं होता है.
And will we be able to study the human being by counting the various muscles and tissues? And this is despite the fact, this is due to the fact that in the human there is no eye. It is neither in the eyes nor in the nose or in the ears that the Jeevan resides.
जीवंत मनुष्य में मरा हुआ मुर्दा जब जीवन छोड़ दिया है, ऐसे मरी हुई शरीर को
and that is the case in the alive human being. And if you look at the dead corpse, that is a situation in which the Jeevan has already left.
मैंने देख करके हम मनुष्य का अध्ययन कर लिया, ऐसा सोचते हैं. ये इससे बड़ी झूठ, इससे बड़ी लबराई और क्या हो सकता है?
And yet, upon studying a dead corpse, we say that we have studied the human being. What can be any bigger lie or any bigger lavarai? I don't know. I think it's some sort of speaking way more than what you have achieved, basically, full of hot air, essentially. What can be more irresponsible, basically, than such claims?
मानव परंपरा को क्या क्या देन दिया परंपरा ने? तो झूठ की पुलंदा दिया. इसीलिए क्या हो गया, जो आदमी शिशु गोद में आता है, स्कूल में जाता है, उनके ऊपर यही लादा जाता है.
So what has this tradition given to the human tradition? It is only the pulinda. I don't know what pulinda is. Basically, it sounds like a pile. So it is nothing but what has this tradition given to the human tradition? Nothing but a whole pile of lies. And that is the problem, that as soon as an infant is born into society,
गोद में आता है, स्कूल में जाता है, उनके
and is sent to school, they are
के ऊपर यही लादा जाता है.
These lies are thrust upon them as well.
माने इसी झूठ की पुलंदा लादा जाता है.
This pile of
जबकि
lies.
हम मनुष्य का अध्ययन किए नहीं किए.
Whereas we have not even studied a human being. We have not, we never studied a human being.
हम डिंग हाँकते हैं मनुष्य का अध्ययन कर लिया, अस्तित्व का अध्ययन किए हुए नहीं किए. हम डिंग हाँकते हैं इसके ऊपर हम शासन करेंगे.
And yet we make huge claims that we have studied the human being. We claim that we have never studied existence, and yet we make huge claims that we will rule over all of existence.
अब क्या करेंगे?
Now what do we
अब
do?
क्या किया जाए?
What
तो
can,
इस ढंग
should
से
be
मानव
done?
परंपरा दब चुकी है, बहुत बड़ी भारी बोझों से दब चुकी है.
So in this way, the human tradition has been buried. It has been buried under these huge burdens of our lies and our delusions, basically.
और ये इसका दो ही विकल्प है, नहीं तो इससे छुटा जाए, नहीं तो सब मर जाए, दो में एक हो जाए.
And to this, there are only two alternatives. Either we free ourselves from these burdens, or we all perish and die. These are the only two options.
नहीं तो इससे छुटा जाए, नहीं तो सब मर जाए, दो में एक हो जाए। मानव नहीं तो सब मर जाए, दो में एक हो जाए।
It has to be one of the two.
मानव इस धरती पर रहे ना करे, रहेगा तो सबूर से नहीं। यही आज की आवश्यकता है। ना करे, रहेगा तो सबूर से नहीं।
किससे रहे? So either humans cease to exist on this planet, or if they continue to exist, then exist with something which I couldn't make out. Could you hear?
मानव इस धरती पर रहे ना करे, रहेगा तो सबूर से नहीं। यही आज की आवश्यकता।
सबूत से रहे, किससे रहे? प्राची, could you make out?
No, is it सब उससे डरे? But I don't
नहीं,
think so.
नहीं, रहवे ना करे is the one option, which is we disappear from this planet, we cease to exist. Humans are wiped out. And the second option is basically that we understand and align ourselves to this order.
समझ से रहे.
Oh, samajh se rahe, yes. Or we live with understanding. Yes.
आवश्यकता है। यही स्थिति बनी हुई। तो सब मरने की बात।
That is the only state. That is the state that we are in. That is our situation just now. These two options are the only options available.
आवश्यकता है। यही स्थिति बनी हुई। तो सब मरने की बात जहाँ तक है, नियति स्वयं माने संतुलित करता है। इस बात को भी हमको पढ़ाया गया है, मानव जाति को पढ़ाते हैं।
And as far as the whole option of dying out, then in that existence or destiny itself balances itself out. That is also something that has been taught to us, that we have been. Yeah.
मानव जाति को पढ़ाते हैं।
That is something that is taught to humankind.
मानव जब जितना अति कर सकता है वो सब करने की बात, तो प्रकृति में ही ये व्यवस्था है। प्रकृति ऐसा परिस्थिति में डालेगी, मानव इस धरती पर रहवे नहीं करेगा।
No matter, I mean, when humans do all these excesses, as many excesses as they can perform, then the planet or destiny creates such situations that humans will be unable to continue to persist on this planet.
प्रकृति ऐसा परिस्थिति में डालेगी, मानव इस धरती पर रहवे नहीं करेगा। ठीक है। एक तो पर्यावरण की बात, हल्ला दंगा, ये तो हम सुनते ही हैं। तो कितना आदमी मरेगा, कितना आदमी बचेगा, वो सब के लिए उपाय खोजा जा रहा है।
And this is the talk of the environment, and a lot of raised voices and protests regarding this is something that we keep hearing as it is. You know, these discourses on how many people will remain and how many will die out. This is something we keep hearing about.
कोई कुछ कितना आदमी मरेगा, कितना आदमी बचेगा, वो सब के लिए उपाय खोजा जा रहा है।
And there are solutions being thought for this question of how many people will remain and how many are going to die out.
कोई कुछ लोग सोचते हैं कि हमारा देश वाले बच जाए, कुछ धर्म वाले सोचते हैं कि हमारा धर्म वाले बच जाए, कुछ परिवार वाले सोचते हैं हम धार्मिक हैं, हम बच जाएं, बाकी सब मर जाए, ऐसा भी सोचते हैं।
Some countries feel that our citizens should be saved, and some religions feel that their disciples or the followers of their religion should be saved. Some families believe that our families are very moral, so they should be saved and others should perish.
हम धार्मिक हैं, हम बच जाएं, बाकी सब मर जाए, ऐसा भी सोचते हैं।
This has
या ये
also
दिन
been thought
पेपरों में
about.
आता ही है।
On a daily basis, we see such discourses in the papers.
बचाने वाला यही है। या ये दिन पेपरों में आता ही है। बचाने वाला यही है। किसी एक का नाम लेते हैं, उसमें कोई ना कोई मजहब समाई रहती है, बाकी सबकी अंतकाल होने ही वाला है, ये भी कहते हैं।
Oh, so on a daily basis, we see such discourses in the papers, and in those, it generally says, so and so is the only savior, and this so and so always has some religion or ideology associated with them.
बाकी सबकी उसमें कोई ना कोई मजहब समाई रहती है, बाकी सबकी अंतकाल होने ही वाला है, ये भी कहते हैं।
Okay, yeah. So and so being some savior, some messiah is going to save us, and in that, of course, there's naturally some religion associated with it, and all others, all those of other religions are going to perish.
बाकी सबकी अंतकाल होने ही वाला है, ये भी कहते हैं। ये सब कह करके कहाँ जाना चाहते हैं?
After saying all this, where do we want to go?
क्या होगा इसका? हसरत क्या होगा?
What will happen upon saying this? What is going to be the consequence?
तो ये सोचने की मुद्दा है।
That is something worth thinking about.
इस मुद्दे पर हमारा सोचना ये है, हम वाकई में धर्म, राज्य, शिक्षा के मुद्दे में भटक चुके हैं।
On this issue, how I think about it is that we have already been kind of wandering, and we have been lost and wandering regarding the issues of religion, religion, politics, and education.
अच्छी तरह से
We have been well and properly lost.
धर्म गद्दी में धर्म का कोई सार्वभौमता नहीं है। जितने भी इस धरती के छाती के पीपल बने हैं, कोई भी धर्म गद्दी में सार्वभौम धर्म का कोई ट्रेस नहीं है, कोई आकार नहीं है, कोई प्रकार नहीं। जितने भी इस धरती के छाती की शिक्षा के मुद्दे में भटक चुके हैं अच्छी तरह से। धर्म गद्दी में धर्म का कोई सार्वभौमता नहीं है।
So in the seats of religion, we can find no universality of religion. There is no basis for universality of religion.
जितने भी इस धरती के छाती के पीपल बने हैं, कोई भी धर्म गद्दी में सार्वभौम धर्म का कोई ट्रेस नहीं है।
In all the religions or the seats of religion that have become the Chhati ka people is a phrase he uses. I don't know if it's his own or if it exists already, but basically it literally means a huge people tree on your chest, which is basically like a huge burden or pressure on you. So he's saying these seats of religion, which are basically like these huge burdens on the chest of the planet, dharti ke chhati ke people. These have no basis of universality.
कोई भी धर्म गद्दी में सार्वभौम धर्म का कोई ट्रेस नहीं है, कोई
there is no trace of a universal religion in any of these seats of religion.
आकार नहीं है, कोई प्रकार नहीं है, कोई शिक्षा नहीं है, कोई प्रमाण नहीं है। अब क्या सोचना है?
So there is no trace of such universality. There is no form of such universality of religion. There is no prakar, no variety, no variant of religion that could be universal. There is no education of any universal religion. So now what do we do?
कोई प्रकार नहीं है, कोई शिक्षा नहीं है, कोई प्रमाण नहीं है।
And no evidence of universality. So now what do we do?
अब कहाँ से लाएं?
Now where
कहाँ से धर्म को लाएं?
Where can we bring religion? Or actually dharma, I find a better word for dharma. It actually means ideology or religion, but the word dharma literally, it connotes these religions and ideologies, but the word dharma literally means morality, so, or order. So you think so where do we bring this morality from? And you think there is no basis for universal morality in any of these religions or ideologies.
में राज्य का कोई अवधारणा नहीं, राजगद्दी में राज्य का कोई अवधारणा नहीं.
Then in the seats of power, Rajgaddi, which is the seats of government, there is no conceptualization of governance, Rajya. I'm not sure if that's the best translation. Rajya is also that, yeah, like a state. Basically, yeah, there is no conceptualization of state or dominion, or not dominion. Well, let's see how he describes it, then I'll translate accordingly.
हम राज्य को, राष्ट्र को बचाने के लिए हमको काम करना है. क्या करेंगे? आखिर में मिला संघर्ष. संघर्ष के लिए क्या मिला? संघर्ष का कुल मसाला.
We will work to protect our state, our nation. But what will we do?
हम राज्य को, राष्ट्र को बचाने के लिए हमको काम करना है. क्या
We want to work towards saving our state, our nation.
करेंगे? आखिर में मिला संघर्ष.
But what will we do? Finally, we found this notion of struggle.
संघर्ष के लिए क्या मिला? संघर्ष का कुल मसाला क्या चीज है? द्रोह, विद्रोह, शोषण और युद्ध. 4.
And in struggle, what is the altogether the masala of sangharsh, or rather what it is made up of? And that is altogether, that is simply offense, defense, exploitation, and war. So altogether, these are the 4 things that make up struggle.
मसाला मिलकर के क्या चीज है? द्रोह, विद्रोह, शोषण और युद्ध. 4 मसाला मिलकर के क्या चीज है? संघर्ष.
So these 4 spices or these 4 masalas together make up what? They make up struggle.
ये चारों मसाला मनुष्य बनाता है कि प्रकृति बनाता है? पूछा गया, देखा गया, इसको अध्ययन किए मैं, जिससे पता चला ये मानव ही ये मसाला बनाता है.
And these 4 spices, does nature make these or do humans make these? That has been looked at, that has been studied, and what was identified, that it is humans themselves who make up these spices, these 4 spices.
भ्रमवश बनाता है.
Humans make it due to their delusion.
ये 2 दिग्गज संस्था 2 है, धर्मगति, राजगति.
These, now there are only these 2 esteemed organizations, that is the seats of religion and the seats of power.
सबसे शक्तिमान, सारा ताकतवर, सारा साधन जिनके पास है, ये 2 ही गद्दी के पास है. दोनों.
The most powerful, the most in control, those who have all the resources, these are these very 2 organizations, the seat of religion and power.
पर सारा साधन जिनके पास है, ये 2 ही गद्दी के पास है. दोनों गद्दी इस ढंग से रिक्त हो गई.
And yet both of these seats are in this way, as we have seen, in this way they have been vacant, basically. They've been empty of any real substance, basically.
अब व्यापार गद्दी को पूछना ही नहीं है, शोषण के लिए पहले से ही बैठा है.
And we aren't even going to ask about the seats of business, because they have already been sitting there for exploitation.
अब क्या किया जाए? शिक्षा गद्दी के पास पूछा, उनके पास कोई मार्गदर्शन की, दिशा दर्शन की, लक्ष्य की हो, चिन्हित लक्ष्य को पहचानवा सके, ऐसा कोई पास
Now what do? So we look to the seats of education, but there also they have no guidance. They can provide no guidance, no answer.
अब क्या किया जाए? शिक्षा गद्दी के पास पूछा, उनके पास कोई मार्गदर्शन की, दिशा दर्शन की, लक्ष्य की हो, चिन्हित लक्ष्य को पहचानवा सके, ऐसा कोई व्यवस्था नहीं.
So then we look to the seats of education, and they have no guidance as to the path, no guidance as to the direction, and no way of identifying or helping anyone identify any definite sorts of goals. There is no system present within the seats of education that are able to provide any such guidance for the path to be followed, or for the direction even to be moved in, or what even the goals are, definite goals for humans could be.
अब बोलिए, आदमी क्या करे?
Now tell us, what should the human being do? What can the human being do?
सामान्य आदमी क्या करे? ये
What should the
आपको भी
common man
सोचने
do?
की मुद्दा है, मुझको भी सोचने की मुद्दा है. मैं समझता हूँ सबके समान रूप में दायित्व बैठा हुआ है.
This is something for you to be thinking about, for me to be thinking about, and as I see it, it is a responsibility for equally shared among all of us to be thinking about this question.
इससे ये स्मरण दिलाने का मुद्दा यही है, अभी परंपराएं जो ये 4 परंपराएं गिनाए गए, इससे हमको कोई रास्ता मिलने वाला नहीं है. कुल मिला के इतने हैं सभी वचन, तो रास्ता नहीं.
From this altogether, what I want to draw your attention to,
अभी परंपराएं बैठा हुआ है. इससे ये स्मरण दिलाने का मुद्दा यही है, अभी परंपराएं जो ये 4
So this is all of this is to remind you that all these 4 traditions that have settled themselves in human society, there is no answer within them.
परंपराएं गिनाए गए, इससे हमको कोई रास्ता मिलने वाला नहीं है.
We are not going to find any way forward through these.
कुल मिला के इतने हैं सभी वचन, तो
overall these are the only civilized conclusions I can. This is the only civilized way in which I can conclude this.
रास्ता नहीं मिलता है तो क्या किया जाए? रास्ता खोजा जाए, बनाया जाए. यही साहसिकता का परिचय है.
So if the way forward can't be found, then what do we do in these traditions? Then we must look for the way. We must forge the way ahead, and this is the very
खोजा जाए, बनाया जाए. यही साहसिकता का परिचय है. वो रास्ता क्या?
That itself is the Parichay, the introduction of courage. Basically, that is what indicates courage. That we look for the way forward, or we forge the way forward.
क्या चीज है? समझदारी का रास्ता हो.
Rita, am I getting it right, or I'm missing something? Is it implying that all humans can be similar? They all can think alike, and they can all see life in the same way. Because religions also thought they could make a large majority, but there were other religions and they conflicted, so it was a mess. But is it possible in his vision that all humans will be happy with one solution for all.
Yeah. So I think what you're referring to is probably the fact where he's critiquing religion, saying there has been no basis for universal morality, no basis of universal religion. And I think that's what you're referring to.
No, but is it possible? I'm saying that all humans will find the same
Right.
thing worthwhile.
No, I'll come to that answering it, but I'm just asking first, what are you referring to?
I'm referring to the fact that he thinks religions have failed in that, okay.
Religions, his basis of saying that religions have failed is that there is no basis for universal morality.
Yeah, okay, you're right. So, I mean, that's how as far as religion went, but they couldn't go further and make it into universal.
Right. So, because so in that is implicit the fact that we need some universal morality. I think that's what you're asking about, is it?
But can all humans follow and believe in the same morality?
Yeah. So the answer to that, as he will also continue, is that we cannot believe and follow the same morality. There is no way that belief will ever be universalizable. But understanding can be universalizable. That is the proposal.
Can the understanding be also universalized?
Well, of course, just like the laws of nature, whether you understand it or 100 years ago some Chinese scientist understood it or some Italian philosopher caught it 1,000 years ago, whatever it may be, whenever the laws of nature are identified and recognized, they are always the same. So we are always the same in recognizing the right.
In humans can be, except for the one thing that I think all humans want to be happy. Is possibly true. I mean, it's true. I think so too. And but how do they want to be happy? And I think that can that ever be universalized?
Yeah, so that's what he's been saying. That's what he's been saying since from the beginning, that happiness is resolution. It is prosperity. It is confidence in the present through relationships, harmonious relationships, and it is a coexistential harmony on the planet. That itself is happiness. That itself is peace, contentment, and bliss. And all of us want the same thing. We all want happiness. We can't
agree on the same path, it seems,
Well, because we haven't bothered. That's what he's saying. What we are functioning through are these traditions of religion and state and education that have not been able to study what human beings are and what they need to begin with. So if we don't understand what we are and what we need, then we'll keep coming up with our imaginary ideas of what we want, and maybe this will work, and then that doesn't work, then we'll try the other, and that is the burden. But he's saying there is a definite truth and reality of human nature that can be understood, and can be understood the same by everyone. Just like when any of us study the cow's behavior or its needs, we can all understand the same thing, right?
Does it assume that, can we assume that all the people on the planet who have understood Jeevan as Jeevan and feel they are Jeevan, not just the body, you mean they all will think alike and be alike? And
they will be alike in their understanding, just like...
But the evidencing will be different, no?
Yeah, of course. Just like if you understand nutrition and I understand nutrition, and our understanding will be the same because we've understood some reality which is objective. Now, we've understood, say, for instance, that, we must ensure a certain amount of vitamin B in our diet. Now, the way you go about fulfilling vitamin B requirement and the way I go about fulfilling vitamin B requirement will differ based on our geography and on our habits and all of those things. So the path and the solution...
When he said conflict nahi chalu hoga. From there only the conflict will come. Because my country, my area mein vitamin B hai hi nahi. And where you live, there's vitamin B available. So I will want vitamin B from you. You will not want to give it to me.
एक मिनट ऐसा सिचुएशन कहाँ होता है कि किसी की कंट्री में विटामिन बी का कोई सोर्स नहीं है?
नहीं, vitamin B, don't talk of vitamin B. Talk of something like clove or something that is available only in some places.
But A, we don't all need clove all over the planet all around the year. That is something we've become habituated to, or maybe we haven't even been habituated to, but we are being told that that is something we should be doing. No, every single geographical region on this planet has its own resources that are
Sustainability.
yeah, of course. And if we understand all the laws of nature, we will not try to ship cloves from India to South America using huge, tankers which are guzzling up oil and, huge tankers made of maybe steel and iron and all that. Because we can just see that we can grow something else over there, no? Or maybe we can grow clove only, whatever we want. So we'll figure out more sustainable ways of fulfilling those same needs.
The human brain can't believe it right
You don't have
now.
faith in human creativity.
I mean, I imagine if I go to Alaska and meet a friend and I take clove for her and she loves it. Now she'll want it now.
So right now we don't know what we want and what we don't want, why we want. All our bases are our taste, sensory preferences, our bodily health and all that. We have no conception of justice and order, natural order and truth. So of course our preferences are going to be all haywire. Of course, some people want to drink almond milk every single day of the year without thinking about what it does to grow all those almonds. Because we don't understand it. We are not seeing things from a larger perspective. We are just looking at very little, very few things.
Thanks to Google. मतलब Google है तो हमको पता भी चल सकता है almond को what it requires, but otherwise how would we know? Huh? I'm not that I drink almond, but
I know. I mean, ये तो बहुत छोटा एग्जाम्पल है. हम लोग तो पेट्रोल पहन के घूमते हैं ना, ओढ़ के घूमते हैं. हम अपनी almost all the things that we do in our life are unsustainable today. But because we are not, see, anything that we are consuming or using, a responsible human will think about all of those things. But we are not educated to being responsible. We are educated to just, continue working in this system and continue running this mill. So we are told not to bother thinking about all these things. So basically the education system has failed. Otherwise, educated humans think about things. They are responsible.
So the educators are also humans, no? Same from the same thing.
That same entire tradition, that's what he's saying. This entire tradition of education, the tradition of state and power, the tradition, governance basically, and the tradition of religion, and of course the tradition of business and trade. These are all rotten. They're not able to serve any, offer any solution. They are all vacuous, is what he said. So when we recognize that, we need to find an alternative. If these are vacuous, then where is the solution? So that we must find.
Okay. Thanks.
मारपीट की रास्ता कुछ नहीं होगा. मारपीट करने वाला बस जानवरों के रास्ता खोजा तो रास्ता नहीं मिलता है तो क्या किया जाए, रास्ता खोजा जाए, बनाया जाए. यही साहसिकता का परिचय है. वो रास्ता क्या चीज है, समझदारी का रास्ता होगा.
So finding and forging such a way which has been absent in the human tradition is the very indication of courage. And what is this courage? How is it going to function? That has to be through understanding.
मारपीट की रास्ता कुछ नहीं होगा. मारपीट.
So the way is going to be the way of understanding. It is not going to be the way of fighting and basically. Huh?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Now I can hear you.
No. Rishta, change the internet connection. You're not able to hear me.
I'm hearing you now, actually. It's coming in bits. Why don't you write it? Because say it also, but write it also just in case wo nahi aata. Because it's breaking up.
Can you hear me?
Now I hear you.
Okay.
But
perfect.
I couldn't. Huh.
Yeah. So, can I just, because we're at 7:30, I thought today only, so he stopped, not digressed, but
He stopped something. I could hear till then. Am I there? Or Prachi? I can't hear you actually. I can see that you're speaking because the green light is on your icon, but I can't hear you. Why don't you write it down? I see you. Now I'm on. It's okay. No, I'm so curious now. I just still write it down in brief so that we don't forget also. Is Manjuji also speaking? Is it only me who is unable to hear? Yeah, only I can't hear. It is. No? Yeah, it's not working. Even though it's saying connected and all that. 1 second. Connected and all that. 1 second.
stop sharing.
I can. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah.
Can you hear?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, perfect. So I was saying at some point he moved from, or he moved beyond these four things which we utilize, fourth orbital, he was saying, na, fourth and third orbital, 4.5. What 4.5 things which we utilize, which is Aswadan, Chayan, Tulan, and Vishleshan. Then he also said that we do Chintan and Chitran. Chitran,
No,
he said. He didn't say
just
Chintan. He said
Chitran.
Chitran bhi chalta rehta hai.
Yeah.
Just Chitran, yes. So that
Yeah.
it's more like a logical. It's more like it's 5 then that we are utilizing,
But we are only
and
using
not 4.5.
only half of Tulan, half of weighing, because we are only using our bodily criteria, not the human Jeevan criteria,
Achha.
the full human.
So
So
it's
the
5
human is the
minus
body
half
and
of Tulan. That's why 4.5.
yeah.
Got it. ठीक है. And he hasn't explained yet another half of that Tulan. Na? He said we do sensory Tulan all the time
Yeah.
on the basis of Priya Hit Labh basis, but he hasn't explained what is the other half which we
No.
miss.
Yeah, he hasn't. He mentioned
Okay.
it very briefly, but he hasn't explained it. He had said, no, that no part of the body seeks justice or order or truth. So these are the other 3 criteria actually.
Okay. Understood.
So,
And
yeah.
another question in this only, like, I'm not able to completely comprehend that how we don't do Chintan. And like, maybe because it's not a work. I feel we do Chintan, we do Sankalp, we do Bodh also, Praman also,
Yeah.
Anubhav also. Maybe so, like, I'm not able to make the difference of.
Right. So of course, the words that he's used are he's picked up all these words from our tradition only, right? And so naturally, those words existed in language because they refer to something. But what he's done is he's used some words and then redefined them. So when we talk about Chintan and Bodh and Sankalp and Anubhav and Pramanikta, then we'll also have to understand exactly what meaning he is using those with. So he had to use words that already existed instead of coming up with, say, alpha, beta, gamma, delta. So
Correct.
he's chosen the closest approximation.
Got it.
So actually, it's an interesting exercise worth thinking about. What are the exactly in what part of our 4.5 are we doing what we currently consider to be contemplation, or we currently consider to be comprehension or determination and experience and evidence. So all of these words right now, at what level do we see them? That's, much later at some other point. This is something which is worth thinking about. But yeah, these are slightly different. They're defined in a specific way.
Got it. Yeah. No, I think, yeah, it's a nice thing to have your own, like clearly saying that what it means to me. And then when you hear other person's definition or Baba's definition, then you can also make contrast and what is the difference in two, and much more richer,
Yeah.
I feel, for you to get to
Yeah.
receive those definitions.
Yeah. It's always better to be more clear about what you believe regarding those right now. And then you will contrast and it will always become clearer. So for sure, that's useful. Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Anything else? You're muted.
You're on mute, Manjuji.
I said today there's many gray areas, but I'll go over it one more time.
Okay. Yeah. And if there are any, then we can start with those tomorrow.
Yeah. Thank
Okay.
you.
So you are
Okay,
reading the
bye.
book parallelly, Manjuji?
No, I should now. I have the book now. I think I should. Yeah.
No,
The
so I'm
book
just
doesn't have a
asking
lot
because
of
you
the
said, no, so
sections.
how do you go over?
By the she puts them up, no, on the YouTube. This whole thing is
The recording
recorded and
only
put
you
up.
go through again.
Yeah.
Understood.
Okay.
The book doesn't fully correspond to all the audio, actually, which is what I've realized while
Okay.
doing all of these.
Yeah.
Because I was constantly referencing, and especially this entire section I couldn't find in the book.
Okay.
Good then. I'm able to concentrate from last 2-3 days.
Okay.
Because otherwise going back to recording is much huge task for me. So I'm happy.
Yeah. It's not this hour recording, you can always listen to his original. That's much shorter and you'll know it now. That's easier to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. See you guys tomorrow.
Okay. Bye.
See you. Bye.
Bye.